I'm so sick of this Indiana Fever coaching staff putting their hands on Caitlin Clark. Enough's enough. Keep your damn hands to yourself. We grown here. Don't touch nobody. Keep your hands to yourself. That goes for you, Stephanie White, you, Brianne January, and the other lady that I'm gonna play in the video. I don't even know your name, but all of y'all need to get it together and relax, okay? Are y'all physically harassing her? What is going on over here? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, do your job. Your job is to coach. Don't touch me.
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be out there cooking defenders, not arguing with the coaching staff like somebody accidentally deleted her entire group project 5 minutes before the deadline. But after that viral sideline moment with Stephanie White, fans are now convinced something massive is happening behind the scenes because Clark did not look frustrated for one play. She looked like somebody who had finally reached her last warning before the basketball gods intervened personally.
I need y'all to follow me this video here. Let me know, am I going too far? You know what I'm saying? Am I overthinking things? Or am I possibly onto something? So the Indiana Fever, right? They're surrounded by a whole bunch of drama. We already see what's going on. You got one video over here flying around of Stephanie White grabbing Caitlin Clark's wrist while Clark is going to shoot 2 free throws. She got to snatch her arm away from the grip of death of Stephanie White, okay? Okay, you got that video out there. Then you got Brianne January, the assistant coach, going back and forth with Clark on the sidelines, popping her neck, going.
Before we move on, smash that like button and subscribe because you don't want to miss out on this one. The Indiana Fever thought they were signing up for national attention, sold-out arenas, and a basketball superstar capable of changing the entire league. What they probably did not expect was for every timeout to start feeling like a leaked political meeting and every sideline reaction to become forensic evidence for internet detectives running 24-hour basketball investigations.
By now, guys, you've seen the viral footage of Caitlin Clark arguing with assistant coach Brianne January. And we've had issues out of Brianne before in the past. Her tracking Caitlin down while she's celebrating, to grab Caitlin up like a child in a department store having a temper tantrum and dragging her back to the sidelines. We've had issues. We've also had issues with Kareem McKelly, man. She's the one directly next to Caitlin Clark. But
just a season ago, Indiana was quietly rebuilding without much national chaos surrounding the franchise. Now every glance from Caitlin Clark becomes a trending topic. Every coaching decision turns into a digital war zone, and the Fever somehow wakes up in headlines faster than celebrity breakups on gossip blogs.
Yeah, we have a pretty good one to break down on this one, man. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark in transition, why it's important to get her the ball, her boil over moment in the first half, what was leading up to that, to the point where she was snatching her hand away from Stephanie White. Oh my goodness, man, it was getting wild. And then who I think should be running the show once Caitlin Clark is off. Caitlin Clark knowing when you're open before you even know when you're open. Oh my goodness, this is how good this girl is. Let's take a look at this, man. So they're coming down right out the gate. Look at Caitlin. She's already seeing that Allen is about to be wide open, man.
And somehow, right in the middle of all this chaos, Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark now look like two people trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instruction manual, while thousands of basketball fans scream conflicting advice from outside the window.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, Caitlin Clark's frustration is boiling over. Something isn't right. So let's talk about this, okay? What you're about to see isn't about one play or one moment. It's a collection of sideline and in-game interactions that have sparked real conversations around Caitlin Clark's body language, frustration, and relationships with the coaching staff. Across multiple clips, you're going to see moments where her emotions boil over, ripping her hand away from Stephanie White in frustration. She's going to be arguing in-game with Stephanie White and reacting visibly when things aren't going right. Where, you know, to the point where us as fans have to question. For some, these are just competitive fire, and for others,
because that sideline footage everybody keeps replaying did not look like a simple disagreement between a coach and a competitive player. It looked like pure frustration finally boiling over after weeks of tension, confusion, mixed messaging, and a growing sense that the Indiana Fever are still trying to figure out whether they want to build around Caitlin Clark's basketball superpowers or politely ask her to stop using them. The cameras caught Clark animatedly trying to explain something during a timeout, while Stephanie White fired back with visible irritation. And suddenly, the internet transformed into a giant detective agency overnight. Fans started slowing the footage down frame by frame, like they were investigating alien contact. Lip readers emerged from the shadows. Amateur body language experts suddenly appeared everywhere. By the next morning, people were talking about the fever like they were a political administration in the midlife a scandal. And honestly, the reason the footage exploded is because it confirmed what many fans already suspected for weeks. She became Abe because she plays basketball like somebody pressed fast forward on the entire sport. Her game is chaos in the best possible way. Deep threes from distances that make defenders question their career choices. Transition passes launched like NFL quarterback throws. Fast breaks that feel less like a fence and more like a natural disaster warning. That style is why arenas sell out. It is why television ratings exploded. It is why opposing arenas suddenly started sounding like Indiana home games whenever Clark touched the ball.
Let's start with the Caitlin Clark assist gate, the scandal that was taking over the internet over the past 48 hours. Caitlin Clark not being awarded 2 assists that she rightfully deserved. And here are those 2 assists. So as you can see, Caitlin Clark comes off the high screen from Aaliyah Boston. She dribbles down and then she skip passes to the corner. Mo Billings makes a 3. This was not originally recorded as an assist. And then she's coming down the court. She's driving in, hands the ball off to Kelsey Mitchell, and she also makes a 3. This was also not originally recorded as an assist.
But throughout the early stretch of the season, there have been moments where the Fever offense looks like it is actively trying to place a speed limiter on a Ferrari. Fans have noticed it repeatedly. Clark starts getting hot, pushing the pace, finding rhythm, making defenders panic, and then suddenly the flow slows down. Substitutions come in. The offense resets into long half-court possessions that feel like somebody replaced an action movie with a tax seminar. Momentum disappears. The crowd gets quiet and Clark's body language starts screaming frustration. Before she even says a word, that is why the sideline exchange felt bigger than just one timeout disagreement. Whenever Clark delivers a spectacular performance, many fans expect reactions that sound like somebody describing a basketball comet flying across the sky. Instead, they often hear phrases about team execution, rotations, defensive consistency, and collective improvement. Now, technically, coaches are supposed to sound balanced and professional, but sports fans are emotional creatures. They want enthusiasm. They want visible appreciation. They want the coach to sound at least slightly amazed when the player casually launches a 30-foot three-pointer that detonates an arena roof.
Already went over the whole Brianne January situation with her constantly trying to be in Caitlin Clark's ear, nagging her, go like a nag, get out of my ear, beat it, girl. Nobody was here for you. None of these people are in this arena for you. None of these people purchased tickets for you. It's the Clark show. Just be blessed and grateful that you get to even have a courtside seat to witness it. It's as simple as that. Brianne January, you got to fall back. As far as I'm concerned, she can go with Stephanie White.
Instead, some Fever fans feel like Clark's brilliance keeps getting folded into corporate PowerPoint language. And that frustration exploded after games where Clark completely transformed Indiana's offense in real time. One of the biggest examples came during stretches where Clark single-handedly dragged the Fever back into games with deep shooting and aggressive pace. Fans watched her ignite momentum almost instantly, only for post-game discussions to pivot back toward overall team structure instead of fully acknowledging how much she altered the game. Fair or unfair, perception matters in sports. And right now, the perception among many Fever fans is that Stephanie White sometimes sounds more focused on controlling Caitlin Clark than unleashing her. Of course, there is another side to this entire argument, and it is important because basketball is not actually played on Twitter. The problem is that balance becomes extremely difficult when your superstar bends the laws of normal basketball spacing. Clark changes geometry the moment she crosses half court. Defenders panic earlier, help defenders creep out, passing lanes open in weird places. The entire defense stretches like melted rubber because opponents are terrified of giving her even half a second of space. Players like that are rare, historically rare. And when you coach historically rare athletes, standard systems often stop making sense. This is the same dilemma coaches faced with players like Steph Curry in the NBA years ago. Traditional basketball logic kept screaming that certain shots were bad decisions right up until Curry started making them look routine.
This is why I respect the points and assists double-double more than the points and rebound double-double, because it's harder to get, fam. It's tough. It's tough to get, but I will give credit to Hines Allen. She got it back right here, and she went to work on a 6'6". I think Dawson might be 6'5". And look how she went to work on her. Put her in the blender. I see you cash it in. Cash it in, Hines. This is going to show a little bit of the Caitlin frustration boiling over. Now, watch how she continues to have to tell people what to do and talk to people. Just watch this.
Eventually, the game adjusted around him because it had no choice. That is why so many fans become frustrated watching Indiana. They believe the Fever should fully surrender to Clark's style instead of trying to moderate it. And honestly, the statistical stretches make their argument difficult to ignore. There have already been multiple moments this season where Indiana looked significantly more dangerous when Clark played instinctive up-tempo basketball. The offense flows faster. Transition opportunities multiply. Defenders look exhausted. The energy inside the arena completely changes. Even teammates appear more aggressive because the pace creates easier scoring opportunities. She looked like somebody tired of hearing the same instructions repeated over and over again, and the internet immediately split into civil war factions. One side claimed Clark was simply showing leadership and competitive fire. They argued that legendary athletes challenge coaches all the time and that frustration is normal when expectations are high. To them, the footage represented a superstar demanding a system that maximizes the strengths. The other side immediately panicked and started worrying about optics. They argued that public disagreements with coaches can spiral into locker room instability and unwanted media narratives.
Here in the first clip, you're going to see the body language here is impossible to ignore. Caitlin Clark immediately rejects the interaction with Stephanie White, and the timing of the camera shot you're going to see with Amber Cox and Kelly Crosskoff makes the whole situation feel bigger than just one emotional moment during a game. So as you can see right here, Caitlin rips her hand away from Stephanie White. You're going to see it play a couple of times, and as you can see, Amber Cox and Kelly Crosskoff just lurking in the back as if this is a horror movie. This is the creepiest thing I probably have ever seen.
Some critics even warned that Clark risks being labeled difficult or uncoachable if these moments continue happening publicly. Sports debates online are already dramatic enough, but adding Caitlin Clark into the mix basically turns the internet into a fireworks factory. And somewhere in the middle of all this noise sits Stephanie White, who suddenly finds herself coaching under an almost impossible microscope. Most WNBA coaches are not dealing with this level of scrutiny every single night. Every Fever game now carries national attention. Every rotation becomes a headline. Every substitution triggers social media essays longer than college dissertations. There are probably assistant coaches around the league, quietly thanking the basketball gods. They are not the ones being asked daily why Caitlin Clark sat for 90 seconds in the third quarter, or are they trying to fit Clark into a pre-existing structure that prioritizes control and discipline over speed and improvisation? Because those are two completely different philosophies. One philosophy says you unleash the chaos and let Clark weapon tempo every possession possible. The other philosophy says you slow things down, reduce mistakes, and maintain structure. Right now, Indiana seems stuck awkwardly between both worlds, which is why games sometimes feel clunky despite Clark's brilliance. And unfortunately for Stephanie White, fans rarely blame the superstar when confusion happens. They blame the coach, especially when the superstar is also the biggest financial engine the league has seen in years.
You are an assistant coach thinking you can just do or say whatever to the point that a player gets up and gets away from you. That, my friend, is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn how long she's been in the WNBA. I don't care about her accomplishments or who she is. You should be chilling out, not doing all of that. It's almost like they don't even know they in a gym full of people. And they're being watched on TV. Like, how unprofessional is this? It's insane. Totally insane. These are grown-ass women who do not know how to conduct themselves in the public. It is what it is.
That reality matters whether people want to admit it or not. Caitlin Clark is not just another rookie or young player developing quietly. She is a ratings phenomenon. She is a cultural event. She moves ticket sales, merchandise numbers, media coverage, and national conversation all at once. When somebody carries that much influence, every disagreement becomes magnified 10 times over. That is why rumors about possible punishment or disciplinary tension exploded online after the footage surfaced. Fans instantly imagine dramatic behind-the-scenes battles, emotional meetings, and front office tension because sports fans naturally assume every disagreement is the beginning of a Shakespearean collapse. Rotations have changed frequently. Lineups continue shifting. Chemistry still looks unfinished at times. Some games feel electric while others feel strangely disconnected. Fans expected immediate domination once Clark arrived, but building a winning team is rarely that simple. Still, expectations changed overnight the moment Clark entered the league. Rebuilding patience appeared immediately.
We've had issues out of both of these women with Caitlin Clark. The way they treat her like a child. Often put their hands on her, grabbing her up. Brianna January is a long-time WNBA player. I mean, she's a WNBA lifer, okay? She played for Indiana from 2009 to 2017. 9 seasons. She played under Lynn Dunn. She played under Stephanie White when Stephanie White was the head coach there during her first stint. That just was awful.
Nobody wants to hear about long-term development when arenas are packed and national broadcasts are following every dribble. People want fireworks now, and that pressure creates tension everywhere. It creates tension for coaches trying to establish authority. It creates tension for teammates adjusting to unprecedented attention. It creates tension for front offices balancing development with entertainment value. Most importantly, it creates tension for Clark herself, who is expected to simultaneously save a franchise, elevate a league, produce highlight and win games while every camera in America tracks her reactions in real time. That is an absurd amount of pressure for any athlete, which is why the sideline moment probably revealed something very human beneath all the headlines. Caitlin Clark is competitive to an almost irrational level. The greatest athletes usually are. They hate losing. They hate feeling restricted because sometimes great teams argue constant lion the way to success. Championship locker rooms are not always peaceful meditation retreats filled with inspirational music and smiling group hugs. High-level competitors clash. They challenge each other. They push boundaries. But those conflicts only work if everybody ultimately shares the same vision. Right now, many Fever fans are not convinced that Clark and White actually see basketball the same way. That is why every timeout interaction suddenly feels loaded with symbolism. Fans are no longer just watching basketball. They are watching philosophy battles play out in real time. Should Indiana fully embrace the fast-paced revolution Clark represents, or should the team continue trying to blend her style into a more controlled system?
When we talk about how patterns form, you're going to see very soon how patterns form. Caitlin's going to hit a huge three. The crowd is going to be super alive. The momentum is going to be building. And before she can even fully celebrate, you're going to watch what Brianna January does. But before I even show you the Brianna January clip, I want to take you guys back to the Phoenix Suns days with Kevin Durant and Mike Budenholzer, who eventually got fired. And as you can see, KD was frustrated with Mike Budenholzer, same way Caitlin Clark is frustrated with Stephanie White, in my opinion. Bud tries to get handsy and physical with KD. And as you can see, KD rips his hand.
That question hangs over every Fever game now like a giant blinking neon sign. And the irony in all this is that both sides probably want the same final outcome. Stephanie White wants to win basketball. Caitlin Clark wants to win basketball. The disagreement appears to be about how to get there. But sports fans rarely enjoy nuance. Nuance does not trend online. Chaos trends online. So now, every Fever timeout feels like a potential documentary scene. Every camera shot of